Welcome back to the Ross Bolin podcast. I am Ross Bolin, here as always with Mr. Jared Borslow. J-Bone, we had ourselves a weekend.
Oh, we really did.
We really, really did. I got married on Sunday morning. We had a relatively small ceremony, just family and our closest people. Was without a doubt the best day of my life. Becoming one with this woman has irrevocably changed me, obviously, for the significantly better, and I'm so thankful to everyone who helped me get here, from my mom and dad, my family, my brother, my closest friends, my therapist, the Bolen Media Squad, everybody in the RBP gang who has supported me over the course of this challenging few years here. It was a long road back to being able to build my own family, and whatever life throws at me henceforth, I have the utmost confidence I can handle it with the support of my wife and our people, especially considering what we have survived together over the course of the last couple of years with the pandemic, with the medication issues I had coming off antidepressants. I'm just very grateful and thankful to everyone who helped me get here. Most grateful and thankful for my wife, though, as she is an angel. She saved me. She is so patient with me and was so loving when I was in a terrible, terrible place. I have never loved anything the way I love her and her daughter, and will spend the rest of my life showing them that. She threw a "you are not alone" in our vows, and I nearly turned into a puddle. But enough of the cheesiness. It's time for one of the funniest stories that came as a result of the wedding. But before I begin, I wanted to announce that this Friday on patreon.com/Ross Bolin podcast, I will be sharing a lot more from the wedding weekend, since that's a more intimate audience on Patreon. Makes more sense to focus on it there. I'll share a lot more stories and such. Jared will be out Friday, so Content Cade is going to join me as my co-host. Content Cade actually videoed the entire ceremony for us, and then he house sat on Monday to take care of Bruce, Bella, Harvey, and Penny so we could do a little mini-moon. The full honeymoon is in June. Shout out Content Cade, a.k.a. Bolen Media employee number 3. But I have a lot more to say about the wedding, marriage, relationships in general that I will get into with Cade on Friday. So if you live for wedding content or you just want to hear more about mine, make sure you join patreon.com/Ross Bolin podcast. I might even make a little photo gallery from the wedding. Who knows? But back to my story. So Sunday evening, and Jared has no idea. Like, really, he has no outline for this. She has no idea what's about to happen this entire episode.
Yeah, I left you at about 2 p.m. on Sunday, so I have no idea what you did after Sunday at 2 p.m.
Yeah, so this is a surprise for him, too. He's basically with the audience on this episode. But Sunday evening, we checked into a little inn and spa out in the hill country, okay? I wouldn't call it like the middle of nowhere, Texas, but it was close for our mini honeymoon. We stayed in a little casita. It's a small house. Super private, nobody else around, hot tub, small pool attached to the hot tub, surrounded by nature.
Pool? Because if I'm going to stay at the White Lotus, I need to have a plunge pool.
What's a plunge pool?
Did you not watch White Lotus?
I did.
Remember, that's what he was like, oh, yeah, I don't care if this one has a better view. The other room we were supposed to have, the Pineapple Suite, had a plunge pool. It's just like a mini pool on your balcony.
But why is it called a plunge pool?
I don't know, because you plunge into it.
This was one of the ones, it's like hot tub, then very small pool, and I'm doing air quotes here, that has jets so you can swim, but you're in place.
An infinity pool.
No, that's where there's no edge, and it looks... But this also was an infinity pool situation because the drop-off in the background was just literally the hill country and nature and acres and acres and acres and acres and acres of forest, okay?
I thought the infinity part meant you could swim for infinity in it. Maybe it's not.
That's not what it means. But I do love that that's what you thought. That is absolutely not what it means. But, so it sounds perfect, right? Well, I'd say Sunday night was perfect. Couldn't have gone better. But then Monday afternoon came, and we're relaxing in bed, fixing to take a nap together, really enjoying the time away from society, a break from parenting, the calm and relaxation of knowing we had gotten through our big day and our family and friends are all back home safe. My eyes are closed. This beautiful woman is lying next to me with her arm draped over me. Life is good.
I don't like where this is going at all.
Then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, she jumps out of bed and starts screaming, "It's on me! It's on me!" And that morning, we had found a decent-sized centipede that already had her on high alert.
Oh,
okay,
no.
and I'm when I say decent size, I mean big enough to where you could see enough detail on the bug to where it looks scary.
Mm-hmm.
All right, it was probably, I don't know, 3 inches long. The centipede.
I think a lot of people don't know what a centipede is because in Texas, if you've seen the show Yellowstone, there's a centipede that bites Jimmy in it. But
Sure.
they bite.
Yeah, I would compare it to like the worms in Dune. Just a long, scary-looking bug, but without the giant mouth that the worms in Dune have. Instead, it's got pinchers on the end, but they're very large and noticeable. And anyway, the centipede already had her totally freaked out. I figure this is another centipede. Maybe it bit her or something. I jump out of bed. I'm like, where is it? Where is it? Like dancing up and down right next to her while she's swiping at her side, like screaming, like, it's on me. It's on me. Then I saw it, Jared. A fucking scorpion.
No!
With its pincher attached to her side, just hanging on for dear life while she jumps around screaming. So she strips off her dress. What? The scorpion falls down to the floor, and I grab an ice bucket. I trap the son of a bitch in there, right? He's alive. I've caught the attacker.
Did it have its pinchers on her or her tail?
Tail, bro. Tail. Hanging. Pinchers flapping in the fucking air. Horrifying.
No way.
Yes, absolutely. So I grab an ice bucket. I trap it in there. Her side where it stung her is like all red and has gone numb within like a circle around where the actual sting is. So she's freaking out. Like, do we need to go to the hospital? Are scorpions poisonous? And I'm like, I don't know. I don't know anything about fucking scorpions. I've only seen like one in my entire life. She's seen zero. This is her first encounter ever seeing a scorpion in her entire life, and it was attached to her side. So she Googles it. And of course, that makes it significantly worse.
Yeah.
With poisonous, it says that the scorpions, the smaller the scorpion, usually means the more poisonous and dangerous. And this fucker was like the size of a quarter. So we're like, well, maybe she's a goner. We made it 1 day of marriage, and now one of us has been assassinated by a scorpion. At this point, I am fucking fuming. Like, I mean, irate, absolutely full tilt. I tell her, like, stay calm. I grab the ice bucket and I stomp out to the car, the Tesla, hers, to drive to the Inn and Spa's office, like a quarter mile down the road, okay? So I stomp into the office with this fucking, the ice bucket's in the passenger seat. Scorpion riding shotgun.
Did you put the seatbelt around?
No. Fuck that. If he went down to crash, that's on him. And I stomp out the car, like, up to the office, all right? I stomp into the office with this ice bucket. The only working employee is on the phone taking a reservation. And she looks up at me, and I slam the ice bucket down on the desk, and she's like, yeah, I'm going to need to call you back. And when she sees the expression on my face, she can tell I'm very upset. And she asks, like, can I help you? And I take the lid off the ice box, and I say, not to be dramatic, but my wife was just stung by a fucking scorpion in our bed while we were making love. I had to spice it up a bit. We're on our honeymoon. We saw a centipede this morning, and I'm going to burn down this entire property if someone doesn't make this right in the next 30 seconds. That's only a slight exaggeration. I said everything but the part about making love. So she freaks out. Immediately runs off to find a manager. The manager brings in some maintenance guy who's like a scorpion expert.
What do you look like?
Exactly what he sounds like. And he tells me, like, it's not, he doesn't think it's poisonous. He says he's like certain it's not poisonous. I put down the torch and pitchfork at that point, but I was still pretty pissed off. They gave me some scorpion sting wipes, which I didn't realize they're a thing. They're just, you know, it's like the glasses wipes you would use on your glasses. You just tear it off, and it's a little wiper, and you just wipe it on the sting, and it helps with the numbness and the venom or whatever the hell. But yeah, it was, I mean, I was pissed. I stomped back to the car cursing under my breath like Harry in Home Alone. And then I walked back into the casita, okay? It's been like 10, 15 minutes have passed, probably. And my wife is still standing there, butt-ass naked, in the same exact place I left her. Because she's too scared to put on any other clothes because she thinks scorpions are in all of her clothes now. Which, in all fairness, is where they hide. They hide in like shoes and clothes, and like they're annoying as hell, man. These little critters, they get up in places where you would not be able to see them.
Yeah, so when you're in hill country, you need to be on high alert for scorpions. I know this because I had a similar experience. However, there was nobody stung. That's why this story is freaking me out, because I was in a casita. I guess this is where they usually happen.
This is where those fuckers hide.
Out in hill country, and I closed like the shower curtain. So it was, the bathroom didn't have a door. The bathroom had a shower curtain, and then the actual shower curtain also had a shower curtain, if that makes sense.
Sure.
But just like a drape instead of a door.
Right.
And I closed it, and I looked down, and there's a fucking scorpion just on this fucking drape, where I literally, my hand was like an inch away from it, and I thought it was dead, right? I'm like,
It's
oh
not
shit,
moving.
because it's not moving. They don't. These fuckers don't move.
Until you fuck with them, then they move.
Yeah. So I went to go fuck with him, and he moved. But I realized it wasn't a him, it was a her, because there were approximately 20 mini scorpions on the back of this scorpion. So what I
that
did
is some shit there.
I took down the tension rod that was holding up the curtain, and I dragged the entire drapes out of the casita and just flapped them off.
Dude, when I say I had to check every shoe,
Oh,
every pillow, every corner and crevice of that room, and then the manager and pest control and maintenance all came and did the same. I am not exaggerating. Like, it was a patently absurd and classic moment to start our marriage, honestly. And since she's okay, like, it'll always be a hilarious memory. But man, it would have sucked ass if we had to, like, go to the hospital. Because, like, with snakes and scorpions and spiders, right? You know, some of them are poisonous, and if you get bit, you got to go get that venom sucked out by a doctor. I think that's what they do.
You should have peed on it.
Right? That actually came up. And then we talked about jellyfish and how she'd been stung, and I couldn't remember if I had or not. But anyway, it was wild. And Jared, now we have your wedding to look forward to, where hopefully during your honeymoon there will be no scorpion attacks like there were in mine. You going to do the chairlifting thing?
Oh, yeah.
For yours?
So yeah, we're not going to be having the wedding in a church. I mean, I'm not very religious, and she's
in a
not
synagogue.
Either. No, we're having it at the venue. So it's one venue. It's in Milwaukee,
right?
And you do the ceremony downstairs, and you go up to this like awesome patio rooftop that has a bunch of like greenery on it, like a greenhouse type feel.
Okay.
You do the or cocktail hour up there, and then while you're at the cocktail hour, they reset the whole room and turn it into like a reception for the ceremony. But yes, we are doing many Jewish things, including the hora.
The what?
I think the hora is. I don't know.
That sounds like a Jewish person saying the horror. The horror.
Yeah, who's that again? Who's the Godfather guy?
Which one? Al Pacino?
No,
Marlon Brando?
Yeah, that guy. But him in Apocalypse Now.
Oh, okay.
That was such a ass backwards way for me to get to what I was trying to think of.
It was.
I should have just said Apocalypse Now.
But it worked. But we did it.
But we're going to do... the horror, I think, is the circle. You put Hava Nagila on and you dance in a circle, and then I'm in the middle on a chair getting lifted up. I'm also going to step on the glass and say Mazel Tov.
Hava
on the
Nagila?
altar.
You're going to do the glass stomp?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I love this.
Just got to make sure the glass doesn't get broken and cut through my shoe, which just happened before to people.
Yeah, you got to have good bottoms on those shoes.
They call that the Jewish.
I got a blister from my wedding shoes.
Jewish scorpion sting.
Jewish scorpion. Okay, well that'll be exciting. I've never been to a Jewish wedding where we had like the chair lifting and the glass breaking. Am I going to be able to get a hand on like a leg?
You're gonna have to fight for it.
One of your legs, not the chair legs. I just want to touch you.
I mean, you can touch me. Yeah, I'll be flailing my legs around. We're also gonna have if any Pittsburgh people are listening, which I'm sure there's at least one. We're doing a Pittsburgh tradition thing, which is the cookie table.
Is she from Pittsburgh?
My mom is.
Oh, okay.
And so my mom's cousin is the cookie table queen. So we're gonna have a cookie table.
What is the cookie table?
It's a table. It's a dessert table essentially.
Is it made of? You eat the table? Is it made of cookies?
Table's not edible.
Now that's an idea.
That would be awesome. That seems difficult to do. And
cookie table made of cookie.
Yeah, it'd be sick.
I think you can pull it off. But okay, what is it though?
It's literally a dessert table that's out for the entire reception that has like 30 different kinds of cookies on it.
And it's just literally what it sounds like. It's a table covered in cookies, different kinds of cookies.
But like more than you've ever seen in your life.
Shit.
Oh yeah, my sister had one at her wedding. It was absolutely lit.
Cookie table, Pittsburgh tradition.
The cookie table took up like how like the ballrooms at hotels are divided up into like different ballrooms. So like you could have 4 mini ballrooms with the door closed or one big one. Her like 1/4 of her wedding ballroom was the cookie table.
Cookie table room.
Yeah.
Sick. Well, that'll be fun. Looking forward to it. Mm-hmm. Anyway, the rest of my wedding stories will be up on patreon.com/Ross Bolin podcast and this Friday's ad-free exclusive episode for those who support us on Patreon. So make sure you are signed up. And thank you to everybody for the congratulations, the well wishes, and the kind messages on social media. Means a lot. Y'all are awesome. This episode of RBP is brought to you by Cuts Clothing. There's already a lot on our minds. The last thing we want to be spending too much energy on is what to wear. Cuts Clothing has perfected the art and science of men's shirts, so you can throw one on and look great without ever having to think twice about it. Every Cuts shirt is designed for a modern, tailored fit. They're insanely comfortable. They make you look good. Plus, Cuts has all the essentials for looking sharp, like tees, hoodies, polos, and more, so you can stop bouncing between brands to shop for different shirts. Cuts became world famous for making shirts that look as great as they feel, whatever life throws your way. I wear them 3 to 5 days a week currently. Their Crew Curve Hem is my go-to tee, but whatever you pick, they make the best t-shirts ever, bar none, no competition. And the thing is, you could wear them to do freaking anything and look good. You could go to the bar. You could work out. You could sleep in them. I sleep in them a lot. They're comfortable as hell.
Do you ever Pooh Bear in them, where you don't wear pants, but you just wear a shirt?
Just no pants. Just the Cuts. The fucking perfect tee, the greatest t-shirt ever made from Cuts. Yeah. Now they have incredible outerwear as well. I'm a huge fan of the bomber jackets. They've got the power vest. They've got Henleys, polos, Sherpas, hoodies, joggers, everything you need. We've reached the point where you could literally wear Cuts and only Cuts for every layer of your outfit, and you would look great. So join hundreds of thousands of guys who have made the simple decision to elevate their wardrobe with Cuts. Get 15% off your first order by going to cutsclothing.com/RBP. That's CUTS clothing.com/RBP. for 15% off the only shirt worth wearing. So I went with a wedding ring this time that's actually my style.
And it's not a tattoo.
And it's not a tattoo. It actually covers the remaining fragments of said tattoo. It's a cold black steel with a silver lining, baby. I am fashion. In other wedding ring news, I saw an incredible Twitter thread that I have to share. From @John Diasseten, it's Diesattheen. I don't know how to pronounce that, but I feel like I have to give him his due credit and spell it out. Here's the first tweet. It's a 1 in a million story. In 2011 in Sweden, Lena Paulsen found the wedding ring she'd lost back in 1995 in her garden, wrapped around a carrot that had somehow grown right up through it. A carrot, a vegetable. Grew up through the ground, brought her ring with it, and the ring was atop the carrot. So after, what is that? Do the math for me. 11 years plus 5 years, 16 years.
Did you say 1995?
Yes.
That's that's not that. That's 20,
isn't 95 plus 5 2000?
27 years.
Wait,
what year do you what year do you think it is?
2022.
Yeah.
But in 2011.
Oh, in 2011.
You're not paying attention. 2011, she found the ring. 1995 is when she lost it in her garden. Do the math, Jared. Tell me how much that is. How many years? How many years, Jared?
16 years.
Thank you. Okay, so here's the thing. It's a crazy story. There's a photo, right? Hard to believe. In 2016 in Germany, an unnamed 82-year-old man found his wedding ring also wrapped around a carrot, which he'd lost in the garden 3 years earlier. So like a 2 in a million story, I guess, the tweeter says. And yet, in 2017, in Canada, an 84-year-old Mary Grams found the ring she'd lost in 2004, that's 13 years, Jared, in her garden because, you guessed it, a carrot happened to grow right through it. So 3 in a million, and yet, in 2018, in England, 69-year-old Lynn Keach found the ring she'd lost in the garden 12 years earlier, of course, wrapped around a carrot that somehow grew through it. And those are just the examples I found in 20 minutes of Googling what the fuck. That's the end of his tweet storm. He provided links to every story. They're all real. And this is a thing. It's crazy shit. Carrots, man.
I heard that carrots had to do something with diamonds, but this is just ridiculous.
Yeah, they're veggie heroes of doofuses who lose their wedding rings, I guess. Just
do you think that carrots grow toward like metal, like a certain shiny metal? Maybe?
There has to be some scientific piece to it, right? It can't just be the pure luck of that many people losing their wedding rings where carrots are even grown, right? Yeah. And then your odds of a carrot growing right up through it to unbury it, basically.
To have sex with it.
This is the same way that the ring was exposed in Lord of the Rings when Bilbo found it.
I think the carrot's trying to have sex with the ring. I'll say it. This guy might not want to say that.
Yeah, pretty sad. And on a completely different note, somehow recently my mind was on Zorro. Jared, are you familiar with Zorro?
Antonio Banderas?
He was one of the Zorros. Yeah, there have been a lot. It's like James Bond. There's like 15 dudes who have played Zorro, and you have no idea, okay? According to Wikipedia, Zorro, Spanish for fox, which I didn't know. I watched Zorro a lot on TV as a kid. There was a TV version on Nick at Night, I think it was, and I would watch it a lot as a child. It was in black and white, but Zorro is a fictional character created in 1919 by American pulp writer Johnston McCulley, appearing in works set in the pueblo of Los Angeles in Alta California. He's typically portrayed as a dashing, masked vigilante who defends the commoners and indigenous peoples of California against corrupt and tyrannical officials and other villains. His signature all-black costume includes a cape. That's right. A cape, a hat known as a sombrero cordobas, and a mask covering the upper half of his face. In the stories, Zorro has a high bounty on his head, but is too skilled and cunning for the bumbling authorities to catch, and also delights in publicly humiliating them. Because of this, the townspeople started calling him El Zorro due to his fox-like cunning and charm. Zorro is an acrobat and an expert in various weapons, but the one he employs most frequently is his rapier. It's a sword, which he uses to carve the initial Z on his defeated foes and other objects to sign his work. He is also an accomplished rider, his trusty steed being a black horse called Tornado. Zorro is the secret identity of Don Diego de la Vega, originally Don Diego Vega, a young man who is the only son of Don Alejandro de la Vega, the richest landowner in California, while Diego's mother is dead. In most versions, Diego learned his swordsmanship while at the University of Spain, created his masked alter ego after he was unexpectedly summoned home by his father because California had fallen into the hands of an oppressive dictator. Diego is usually shown living with his father in a huge hacienda, which contains a number of secret passages and tunnels leading to a secret cave that serves as headquarters for Zorro's operations and as Tornado's hiding place. In order to divert suspicion about his identity, Diego hides his fighting abilities while also pretending to be a coward and a fop when he's not in character. So this got me thinking. The point is, like, okay, was Zorro the original Batman? And then I went and checked dates, and like, yes, Zorro predates Batman, predates Bruce Wayne. So really, Don Diego de la Vega has to be like early stages Batman in terms of, you know, later on I think somebody saw Zorro a bunch and came up with the idea for Batman is what I'm saying. It kind of bummed me out. I was just like, I don't feel like Zorro gets the amount of credit that he should. So I went to Google Zorro. And the first thing that populated was Zorro, the gay blade. And I was just like, what the fuck is this? So I click on it, right? This is a Zorro rabbit hole. And it says, Zorro, the legend, this is Zorro the Gay Blade's premise. This is a film from like 1981. And it says, Zorro, the legendary swordsman, has passed on his weapon and his sense of duty to his noble son Diego, played by George Hamilton, a dashing swashbuckler like his father. But after an injury sidelines Diego, he is forced to hand the mask over to his flamboyantly gay twin, Ramon, also played by George Hamilton, who prefers to be called... And not a single person listening could possibly guess this. Bunny Wigglesworth. He prefers to be called Bunny Wigglesworth. So while Ramon agrees to take on the guise of Zorro, he decides to add his own flair with garishly glittering costumes and a whip in place of the iconic sword. And now I have to watch that movie.
Yeah. Does it have a Rotten Tomatoes score?
It has to. Let me find it. But it's
Zorro the Gay Blade.
So not only was somebody watching Zorro at some point and went, there's something I can do for white people here, white billionaires, instead of, you know, Zorro's like Hispanic culture, obviously. But somebody watched it and went, what if Zorro was gay? And had to make Zorro the Gay Blade in 1981. It says it's a comedy / swashbuckler. It's an hour and 34 minutes long. It has 6.1 out of 10 on IMDb and a 43% rating on Rotten Tomatoes.
Huh.
Yeah.
Speaking of movies, I saw...
Only has 14 reviews.
I saw The Northman last night.
72% audience score. Oh, shit, you did?
Yeah.
The Skarsgård Viking movie.
Yes.
Did you see it in theaters?
Yes.
Okay. What'd you
did.
think?
So I know it's not a nice documentary.
It looks like it's badass.
Okay. It is very enjoyable, and it's not something it's very enjoyable, easy to follow, and entertaining. There's a couple things I can't get past. Number one, and these are not spoilers, Alexander Skarsgård plays Nicole Kidman's son, whereas in Big Little Lies, Alexander Skarsgård plays Nicole Kidman's husband.
That's an unfortunate casting decision.
If you've seen Big Little Lies and then you go see this,
It's a little weird.
You cannot get out of your head the fact that how could they possibly be mother and son? Which, what a huge insult to Nicole Kidman and a huge compliment to Alexander Skarsgård.
Feels like that was a knock to her for sure. I mean, I think she is a little older than him, but goddamn, yeah, to go from playing the same age to playing she's a generation in front, a whole generation in front, that's rough.
And then the second thing is that while there are great visuals and like it's a cool, if you like Viking stuff, it's really cool.
I like Viking stuff. Loved the show Vikings for a few seasons. Couldn't keep going though.
It's I don't want to ruin it, so I'm just not going to get into bad territory. All I'll say is there's probably 5 moments that are unintentionally funny.
Where you were laughing and you don't think you were supposed to be.
Where I was laughing at how absurd it was.
Yeah, I feel like the absurdity of the violence.
No, the absurdity of how I knew it was a serious scene, but it was funny.
But it didn't come off correctly.
It did not come off as it should be a serious
like overly dramatic almost to the point that it's funny?
Yeah.
Okay. Like it takes itself too seriously?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I think it was trying really hard to be a Viking period piece.
Like an epic period piece?
Yeah. So they're like doing stuff that Vikings would do, but it's like a thing that is, yes, it might have been normal for Vikings, but it's funny now, but they're doing it, so it's funny to me, but it's not supposed to be funny if it's a period piece.
Right. Ironically, one of the movies that I watched, it rained a lot yesterday when we were on the second day of our mini moon or whatever, which was fine. We get to stay inside, chill, no scorpions. But they had the worst movie selection at this fucking inn and spa that I have ever seen. It was like season 3 of Friends. Jerry Seinfeld live on Broadway from 1998. Like we watched that too. It was really weird. Jerry told a few racist jokes that I was like, what? And by racist jokes, I mean jokes that were inherently racist, not jokes that he meant to be funny based on race. Like you could not tell those jokes now. They were fucking weird. And but that aside, the other movie in the DVD slip that I grabbed that had Jerry's fucking Broadway stand-up in it was The Other Bolen Girl. Now, I'm familiar with The Other Bolin Girl because my last name is Bolen. So when The Other Bolin Girl came out and people were like, and Bolin, people were like, is that a relative? Ah, ha, 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 ha. It's always been this thing people bring up to me, periodically over the course of my life. I'd never seen the film. So I popped it in, watched it. We watched it. She fell asleep, but I watched it.
Who's in that? That like a Helen Mirren joint or some shit?
That is where things get really weird. It has more like best actor people in it than maybe any movie I've ever seen.
James Duty. I just said James Duty Dench.
Judi Dench?
James Duty Dench.
Okay. Natalie Portman plays Anne Boleyn. Scarlett Johansson plays Mary Boleyn.
Okay.
Eric Bana plays Henry Tudor. Mark Rylance plays Sir Thomas Boleyn. He's from that Tom Hanks movie where he helps the spy get back or whatever. I think it was called Bridge of Spies. But Mark Rylance is phenomenal. Benedict Cumberbatch as William Carey. David Morrissey as the Duke of Norfolk. Eddie Redmayne as William Stafford.
Oh, jeez.
I mean, it goes and Andrew Garfield is credited, but I don't know if he was actually on screen at some point. Anyway, it has more star power than most movies I've ever seen in terms of like a lot of these people. I didn't even know Benedict Cumberbatch was doing movies back then. He's won a Best Actor since then. I'm pretty sure Eddie Redmayne has been nominated too. Anyway, just a phenomenal cast, but the movie itself is like it's about King Henry VIII, and we all know he was a terrible asshole who beheaded many women, many wives, many of his own wives.
His wives.
Makes it ironic to watch on your wedding weekend. But that shit was wild as hell, son. I had no idea. Like, things back in the day, like, things are bad now. Everybody wants to look around and talk about how shitty the world is. It is so much better than it used to be. Holy hell. That was a rough stretch of history. Essentially, the dude is too horny, can't control himself, and as a result, severs the relationship between England and the Catholic Church, and then creates his own religion, Protestant, so that he can marry whoever the fuck and divorce whoever the fuck. Because if he's the head of the church, then he can annul the marriages and nobody can tell him no. So that's what Natalie Portman's character, Anne Boleyn, talks him into doing. And then, spoiler alert, he cuts her fucking head off in the end. Wasn't a good idea by Anne, but a great movie. And if you didn't know the part about her head, I'm sorry. It's just history.
I heard she has bomb-ass head.
So there's a couple movies you can watch: The Northman and the other Bolin girl.
Speaking of movies that have casts that make you go, wait, what the fuck? How is that the cast of this movie? So my family has a tradition where on Christmas we watch Unaccompanied Minors.
Okay.
By the way, it's
why?
I don't know. Actually, I do know. My brother gets me. My brother has this terrible tradition where he gets me awful Christmas presents. He'll go to Target and just buy like bargain basement stuff from there.
Okay.
Stuff that's on sale.
Yeah.
And one year he got me Unaccompanied Minors
Like
on
out of the bin, it's
on
like a
DVD.
$2.50 DVD.
And then they added it to Netflix, so we just watched it on Netflix.
Okay, I've got it pulled up. I remember hearing the name of this movie, but I had never seen this movie.
First off, look at the director.
Directed by Paul Feig?
Yeah. Look up his other movies.
Okay.
Unaccompanied Minors, notably bad Christmas comedy about kids who are unaccompanied minors in an airport.
Oh my God, this dude is Tim from Heavyweights.
Oh.
Tim from Heavyweights directed Unaccompanied Minors.
And he also has a bunch of other...
He produced Freaks and Geeks. Yeah, he's got a ton of shit on here, but that is wild, dude. I love Heavyweights. It's like an all-time favorite movie of mine.
Didn't he have an even bigger one than Freaks and Geeks? Like a really big movie? Like an all-time great comedy?
I think I'd have to scroll back. Oh, it says Freaks and Geeks. He co-executive produced 26 episodes of The Office. I guess that would count as probably... He executive produced Bridesmaids.
Oh, that's the one, Bridesmaids. Yeah.
Damn, dude. And co-executive produced 12 episodes of Nurse Jackie, which is also a pretty widely considered to be very good show on HBO.
Yeah, now this movie sucked, but the cast, when you look at it now, and also the Office ties come in, if you can read through the cast list.
Okay. I see Wilmer Valderrama.
Yep, he is in there.
I see Rob Corddry.
Uh-huh.
Jessica Walter, who plays the mom in Arrested Development, rest in peace. Rob Riggle. Louis Black. Why are all these listed? Mindy Kaling, and they're all towards like the bottom.
Yeah.
BJ Novak, okay. So you got the Mindy Kaling and BJ Novak love from The Office was probably spawned here in Unaccompanied Minors. What the hell is the premise? It says a group of unaccompanied minors bond while snowed in at the Midwestern Hoover International Airport during the holiday season and ultimately create a makeshift holiday themselves. How many years have y'all watched this?
3 times.
3 years now. Huh.
Not consecutively.
Oh.
But 3 times.
3 different years.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's every 2 years, unofficially.
Tyler James Williams.
Yeah, everybody hates Chris.
Holy shit, yeah.
Everybody hates Chris, which he doesn't get slapped. He plays young Chris Rock here, but he does not get slapped.
Does not get slapped in the face by Will Smith. Good to know.
I may be an unaccompanied minor, but keep my mom's name out your fucking mouth.
I'm not sure that moment in pop culture history will ever get old to me. Like, it was just so ridiculous that, I mean, and I cannot wait for the Academy Awards next year when the whole conversation comes back up all over again. And every year for the next 10 years while he's banned. It's going to be amazing.
God.
Anyway, there's some entertainment films and such for you guys to watch.
Has Chris Rock yet said whether or not he actually understood what the joke meant? I still think it was written for him.
I mean, I still think you could argue the joke didn't have anything to do with alopecia, but I think whoever wrote the joke knew she had alopecia. He just didn't know she had alopecia.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I think he knew she had that hairstyle. I don't think he knew why she had that
I don't think he
hairstyle.
knew either. I really don't. I do not know if he has clarified or not. All I know is he has yet to include it in his stand-up, and that the second he does, we will all hear about it because he'll probably be getting a $100 million deal from Netflix or HBO just because everyone is going to go watch that stand-up that he does about that instance. So, yeah. We have that to look forward to. Today's episode is also brought to you by Talkspace. It is spring cleaning season, time to get out the old and make room for the new, right, J-Bone? There's something rejuvenating about getting down to what's essential and starting fresh. Same goes with your mind. Over the years, thoughts and emotions build up, and that's why it's important to talk to somebody who's trained to help you declutter your mental space. Talkspace therapists are available to message anytime you need because you shouldn't have to watch your thoughts pile up until your next appointment rolls around. I've been in therapy for a long time, 10 years at least. And that's one of the things about therapy, traditional therapy, that can be a little inconvenient. If you've got an appointment in 2 weeks, but you have something come up that you need to talk about or get off your chest now, oftentimes therapists are fully booked, especially when you find a really good one, which can be difficult. So it's one of those things where I always wish that I had more availability on just an any time during the day basis to reach out and talk to somebody if I needed them, and that's exactly what Talkspace provides you with. Taking the first step towards getting help can be scary, but no matter what, no matter where you are in your mental health journey, talking to a therapist who's trained to help makes a huge difference. Friends and family are obviously great, but they're not trained professionals who know how to help you get through stuff. And Talkspace takes some of the pressure off that first step. It's a more flexible, convenient, and affordable way to get high-quality care. Once you match with one of their licensed therapists, you can message them anytime through the app or schedule a live session if you need some FaceTime. If thoughts and emotions are piling up, a fresh perspective can help you feel better. Match with your dedicated therapist today at Talkspace.com and use promo code RBP during sign-up to get $100 off your first month. That's $100 off at Talkspace.com. Promo code RBP. I've got an insane headline of the day for you. Massachusetts family wins $5 million verdict from country club after property hit by over 600 golf balls. From NBC News, a Massachusetts couple won a verdict worth nearly $5 million against a local country club after suffering from the years-long, quote, continuous threat, end quote, of wayward golf balls struck by hackers, not computer hackers, golf ball whackers. A Plymouth County Superior Court jury awarded Eric and Athena Tinzer, $4.93 million in December, finding that Indian Pond Country Club was at fault for not protecting the couple's home from a constant barrage of bad golfing, court records showed. The Tinchers originally sued both Indian Pond and Spectrum Building Incorporated, which built their new home in Kingston, about 40 miles south of downtown Boston. They settled with the builders, leaving Indian Pond Country Club as the sole defendant. Quote, the continuous threat of golf ball strikes occurring at any time prevents the Tinchers from the use and enjoyment of their property, end quote, which was purchased for $750,000 on April 27th of 2017. The Tinchers' attorney, Robert Galvin, said he understands skepticism about his client's dismay over errant golf balls, knowing they were buying property that abuts the 15th hole. But the inconvenience of an occasional golf ball going into the backyard pales in comparison to the 651 dimpled spheres that have struck their property, Galvin said. There have been, quote, multiple broken windows, according to the lawsuit, and one particularly jarring shot on July 18, 2018, that struck a window in the home, shattering the glass and terrifying the plaintiff's young daughter, and resulting in the Tinchers contacting the Kingston Police Department to file a report. A lawyer for Indian Pond Country Club could not immediately be reached for comment on Monday. The judgment is being appealed, with the defense arguing that $4.93 million is excessive, according to Galvin. The couple's home is at the bend of a severe leftward curve in the course, so golfers seeking to cut the dog leg would regularly blast off the tee in hopes of clearing a tree line, but end up hitting the home instead, the Tinchers claimed. But now the couple and their three young daughters hope the problem could be solved, as the tee box on 15 has been moved back, de-incentivizing golfers from their attempted shortcut and instead encouraging more simple shots that follow the dog leg, Galvin said. So, for those of you who are not golfers, a lot of all fucking country clubs that I'm aware of have houses built along the golf course that cost a lot of money. You purchase one of those houses, and I'm almost certain you actually have to become a member of the country club for a lot of the really nice country clubs. You can't just live in one of the houses on the country club and not be a member. But the point is, obviously, houses on golf courses are subject to being struck by golf balls. Now, a lot of the time, the houses will actually be on straightaway, long par fives and such, encouraging people to and they'll also be, on every golf course, they are a different distance from the actual course, right? Some are right up against it. Some are like 40 yards back, and you really have to suck ass to hit that house. I played once at Bear Creek United in Houston, Texas, on a hole that was directly off the tee box. I mean, right there was an apartment complex, and there was like a big-ass brush, like 10-foot tall brush, to protect the apartment complex from being struck by golf balls. You would have to hit your shot 90 degrees to the right to hit the apartment complex. And when we approached the hole, there was a sign that said, "Warning, golfers are responsible for damage caused by errant shots." And I was playing with my buddy Everett and two random foreign dudes who were shithoused. And on the way up to the tee, they were laughing like, what kind of moron would hit one of those apartment complexes? And then one of those two shithoused guys blasted a ball directly through one of the windows. He hit it straight through the brush, and we all did the thing where you're waiting to know if it hits, to hear the noise, and it just shattered a window. And they got in their cart and drove off, and we never saw them again. So it's not a thing that it's not that this is unheard of.
My dad has broken a window with a golf ball.
No shit. I mean, yeah, it's pretty common. But a lot of the houses on golf courses have windows facing the course that are not breakable. They have the nice glass that's really expensive, and so that the balls just bounce off or whatever. You still hear it, but it doesn't shatter the window most of the time. So if you're moving onto a golf course, you're aware that this is a possibility. Now, my guess is that these jackasses aren't golfers. So when they purchased this home on an extreme dogleg, like if you went out to the tee box on what it sounds like this hole is, and you were thinking of purchasing that house, you would be like, oh, okay, so every asshole is going to hit their ball directly at this house. I'm not going to buy this house unless they move this tee box, which it sounds like they're now doing.
Well, now what's important to note is it's on the 15th hole.
Right.
So when people get drunk as a golf round goes on, they're more likely to take risks, which include trying to cut a dogleg corner, meaning when you're 7 beers deep, you're going to go and aim right at these people's house.
Exactly. And I would even go so far as to say that for some golfers, the longer the round goes, the less they give a shit about the round,
that
drunk
too.
or not.
Yeah.
But especially if you're drinking. Like, I'm usually around hole 15 ready to quit in the hot Texas heat. I'm like, you guys want to do these last 3? Let's just get the fuck out of here. I'm sweating my tits off. I can't even swing the sticks anymore. So to your point, yeah, really the least ideal spot that they could have possibly been in. But the house only cost $750K. So how do you validate almost $5 million in damages?
They're saying like the quality of their life for the last however long was diminished because they couldn't go in their backyard. Which, now that I'm thinking about it, imagine being in their backyard during the day. I would always, every time a person hits a shot, it might fucking hit you.
I mean, and didn't yeah, it reminds me of Happy Gilmore when he's like, you hit that guy. And Happy's like, you shouldn't have been standing there. And then there's a person on the roof, like looking out the window at the other person he hits, and then he hits that person. But yeah, I mean, it's a weird situation because it's like, I get it. That would suck. I would be extremely pissed off if I spent $750,000 on a home that then was just constantly getting blasted by golf balls, 600 golf balls. But that's 600 golf balls since 2017. That's 5 fucking years. Like,
that's still a shitload.
Okay, but that's...
One every 5 days?
Damn, that's often.
For 6 years?
That's really often.
One a week for 6 years.
What a pain in the ass. But you've also got to take into consideration, like, a lot of the time they're probably at work when it happens, right?
But this isn't like a people whose house is like near a green and they're getting like wedge shots coming in.
That's
people
true.
are blasting drives at their house.
Which means, to Jared's point, that when these balls make contact, it is loud in all likelihood. Not just breaking windows and such, but if it hits the, roof or the siding or like something in the backyard, yeah, no matter what, there's a noise here.
This reminds me, so we didn't have a lot of driving ranges growing up by my house, but there was one at a mini golf course, right? Now, it wasn't that long of a driving range. It was probably about 350 yards long, so like unless you're long as fuck, you're just going to end up hitting the back wall.
Sure.
I mean, if you
Which
really...
people can do.
Yeah, exactly.
Guys who go out there and hit as hard as they can and will hit the back net or whatever. Yeah.
Exactly. Now... Which 350 yards at a driving range, as long as there's a back wall, back net, that's fine because nobody's going to blast it that far, right?
Highly unlikely.
Now, the issue, Ross, is that this driving range was two-sided.
Meaning there was people hitting from
both sides of the 350 yards, which is why...
Okay, hold on. Let me just stop you there for a second. You're telling me that you went to a driving range that when you were on one side of the driving range, where normally there only is one side, and you're hitting your balls out into the abyss, that out in the abyss, there is another side where people are hitting balls back at you.
Yeah, I think space must have been at a premium for them, because that was what was happening.
That is some greedy shit. They were like, this isn't enough slots. We need more people to be able to come out here and whack golf balls. Fuck it, let's hit them at each other. Let's have them kill each other.
Only 350 yards. So
really not that safe.
I got hit by a fucking dickhead driving in the other side in the fucking arm, and it hurt really bad.
Like off a bounce or just flat out blasted? You don't even know.
I didn't see it bounce. It could have bounced. I didn't see it.
Hard to see those though. Hard to tell.
I wasn't looking.
Dude, people don't realize this about golf. People who aren't golfers. Like, it is dangerous out there. Like, I've almost been hit probably 100 times, right? Over the course of the 15, 20 years I've been playing golf now. Probably somewhere around there, 100 times. Like, it happens a lot where you're on a hole that the guys back on the tee box can't see where you are, so they hit, or oftentimes, honestly, it's that you're on a hole and the guys on the tee box are pissed off and sick of waiting, so they just go ahead and hit, and then they almost hit you. Or you're at a fantasy football golf situation because you're doing your draft that weekend and you're playing with your boys, and one of them is a sociopath who hits into people on purpose, constantly causing fights and nearly killing all your friends, which is also a situation I've been in. But yeah, golf is not like as peaceful and safe as you would think.
Yeah. Disc golf isn't either. I hit a guy once pretty hard with a disc.
That would hurt like a motherfucker.
It was his fault, though. I yelled 4. He looks at me, doesn't see the disc, and just turtles up, and it just slammed into him. I'm like, bro, I said move. Like, move, seek cover.
Yeah, but it's coming too fast. At least with a Frisbee, you can kind of see it.
I threw it pretty fast.
I mean, a disc.
I flicked a Firebird.
Frisbee is a trademark of the Whammo Corporation.
Well, it's funny you say that. Somebody pointed out to me that apparently 3 years ago,
no way,
Mattel purchased the rights to Frisbee from Whammo.
Just bought the word? That's so fucking stupid.
I prefer Whammo. I think it's funnier.
Damn. Mattel, huh?
Mattel, dude.
Toy magnet. Mm-hmm. Magnate?
Magma.
Liquid hot magma. Oh, man. Well, anyway, good luck to the, what's this couple's name? The fucking Massachusetts couple? The Tinctures. I don't think that's how it's
their favorite way to do CBD.
Yeah, with a tincture. Tenczars. Tenzars. That's definitely how it's pronounced. Sorry for saying it wrong this entire fucking time. 2 days before my wedding, in a kismet moment from the cosmos, one of my favorite rappers since 2002, 20 years now, Pusha T, dropped his latest album titled It's Almost Dry. And that is I want to say quadruple entendre. The album is a Pharrell versus Kanye West production orgy, and that's what makes it really, really appealing. Pusha T has long time been considered one of the best lyricists in rap for anybody that knows hip-hop. And obviously, Pharrell and Kanye West, for a very long time, have been two of the best producers in music, period. So to have those two guys co-produce your album is a really, really big deal. I would compare it to when Jay-Z made The Blueprint and had Kanye do half and No ID do the other half, and it became one of the greatest rap albums of all time with this duality of production between two greats, sort of at their peaks at that point, I would argue. Well, I guess Kanye was sort of at his beginning, actually, but No ID was certainly near his peak. So the album is a Pharrell, Kanye West mashup sort of situation where Pharrell produced half the tracks and Kanye produced the other half of the tracks. And it is fucking phenomenal, perhaps Push's best work. Yuck. It's 12 songs. It's only 35 minutes long, which for everybody out there who's like, I hate movies that are 3 hours, I would say, like, this is the equivalent to an hour and 20-minute film. Just a super easy thing to consume. 35 minutes, 53 seconds, and I was trying to come up with, like, it's 12 songs, right? So I was trying to come up with my top 5 songs to let people know they should check out if they're interested. Maybe you've never listened to Pusha. Maybe you just, I don't know, maybe you never knew who he was or something. This is impossible. Like, there's at least 8 tracks on here that are my favorite right now. So it took me about 30 minutes to do this. And here are my top 5 current songs off of It's Almost Dry. Number 1, actually, fuck that. Number 5.
Yeah.
Just So You Remember. This is a Pharrell-produced track with one of the more original beats that I have probably ever heard in my life. It kind of reminds me of that creepy scene in Godfather 2 when Michael and Fredo are in Cuba and they go to that weird sex show and Michael figures out that Fredo is betraying him, which is also referenced in this album somehow, but that's what the beat reminds me of. It's fucking awesome, but just some of the lines he drops are incredibly cold. So that's my number 5, Just So You Remember. Number 4 is Diet Coke, which has been out for several weeks now. It was one of the singles. You ordered Diet Coke. That's a joke, right? It's a great song. Love it. Nothing else to say. Number 3, Neck and Wrist, featuring Jay-Z. One of my favorite Jay-Z features ever. This is the complete and total opposite of what he did on Donda. Like, that was a mail-in verse that people try to credit as being creative. It was just lazy and sad. This is actually good Jay-Z, because the difference between Jay-Z being on a Kanye West track in 2022 and being on a Pusha T track in 2022 is that Jay-Z respects Pusha T. He doesn't give a shit about Kanye West at all. And I can just tell you that fucking straight up. Number 3, Rock and Roll, featuring Kanye and Kid Cudi. Now, this is a Kanye-produced track that features two men who will never apparently be on the same song ever again. This is the last track you will ever see Kid Cudi and Kanye on together, as they have completely severed ties in their relationship over Skeet Davidson. Dumbest reason ever to lose a friend. Holy shit.
I think they both need to find God.
They both do. Not even joking. That's pathetic. These two dudes make great music together. Pete Davidson? Come on. Somebody can't do a sit down here? Fucking Jay Prince, where are you, dude? Jay Prince, can we get a Kid Cudi Kanye sit down? You fix everybody else's fucking relationships up. Drake, nobody gives a shit if Drake and Kanye are friends. They're not going to do music together. These two do music together constantly. Get them to make up. Rock and Roll is a great song. Kid Cudi does the chorus. Ye has a great verse. All in all, it's just, it's not a, I would say it's not a typical Pusha T type beat. It's a Kanye beat. Like, you would hear this on a Kanye West album. So that's what makes it fun, because Pusha dominates it.
When you said these two do music together constantly, I don't know, like the way you had your voice, you sounded exactly like Jerry Seinfeld, which makes me think.
It's because I just watched that special, dude.
I think you could do a good Jerry Seinfeld impersonation.
I probably could. I also noticed that I have an uncle named Dave. Love my Uncle Dave. But my Uncle Dave looks absolutely nothing like Jerry Seinfeld and reminds me exactly of Jerry Seinfeld. And I think it's the way he talks. And it makes me think my uncle watched so much Jerry Seinfeld that he picked up some of his mannerisms. I'm serious. And then it made me wonder, like, well, I have to have at least 20 people's mannerisms balled up in me at this point. And I wonder if anybody can pick any of them out. So if you can, hit me up on social media.
Where did you learn how to spank like that?
My dad.
Who I met for the first time.
This is amazing to me, but J-Bone and my dad, my family, has had a running joke with Jared for years, like 5 years at least.
Yeah.
That Jared is my dad's third son, and that you're actually a member of our family, right?
Mm-hmm.
I didn't realize that you and my dad had never actually met face to face, though. You've only spoken on like the internet.
We've spoken on every medium. He's written me handwritten notes.
That's true.
We've
multiple
texted,
handwritten notes.
Emailed. We've been on phone calls together, but I've never been face to face with the man.
Finally met him.
Did. I
Your
also
other
met your brother.
And my brother, Sam, who's getting married later this year as well. Very excited for that. Big wedding year for me, man. Big wedding year.
Oh, yeah.
Been a while since I had a wedding year. Like, I'm serious.
Do you have second half of your year weddinged up?
It is pretty much nonstop. Yeah.
Me too. I got like 4.
I think it's the pandemic that did this.
I think so too.
It got a lot of people in positions where they were like, well, might as well be in a relationship and have the time and focus and energy to actually make it work. And it resulted in, and obviously people were trying to not get married during the pandemic. They want to make sure all their family and shit can come. Some people did. Good for you. You guys have balls.
But yours was nice because it was in Austin. All these other ones are absolutely
right here.
not. I have to leave.
Look, man, it's number 2. You think I'm gonna make all these fucking people travel out of the country or something to like a destination wedding? No, I don't think so. Speaking of number 2, my number 2 on Pusha T's album, "Scrape It Off," featuring Lil Uzi Vert and Don Toliver. That's just a combination of dudes that if they put a song together, I am very likely going to thoroughly enjoy it. And then my number 1 is the most Kanye song on the album, which should probably be a given for me. It's "Dreaming of the Past," featuring Kanye West. I love it, man. It's upbeat. Pusha lays real dark lines and has just in general, like, his subject matter is all cocaine and drug dealing and gangster shit. When you put that over a very happy beat, like uplifting party beat, like "Dreaming of the Past," you get something special. And as a result, that is my number 1 song on the album, "Dreaming of the Past." I am not exaggerating when I say it has been a hot minute since I heard a complete album, record, catalog of music that was as impressive as these 12 songs in 35 minutes. They cut all the fat, all the features are perfect, all the production is perfect. 2 of my favorite producers of all time with my favorite rapper, one of my favorite rappers of all time at the helm. It is just an easy win. If you're a fan of rap, you like hip-hop, and you haven't listened to It's Almost Dry, you're an idiot.
Is this your top rap album of the year?
So far, for sure. Yeah. And I am not counting Tyler's album came out last year, right? Oh my God, I have to check because I'm going to feel really, really stupid. Yeah, Call Me If You Get Lost was 2021, so doesn't count. Yes. This year, yes. It's Almost Dry.
Okay.
Yesterday, In the year 2013, yesterday, April 26, 2013, I met my dog, Bruce. I didn't even realize this. I don't give enough credit to the iPhone photo fucking albums. None of us do. Facebook back in the day was the thing that would serve you up like, remember when you graduated from high school? Here's all the photos. And you'd be like, oh, sick. And you'd go through the album and it was fun as hell. Or be like, here's Spring Break 2015. You'd be like, man, those are memories. This is the version of it that we have now. It's the iPhone serving you up featured albums. And sometimes if you've been divorced, they're not great, but they're helpful to deleting photos you no longer want in your phone at that point. But to my actual point, I love these fucking albums they serve me up because it'll remind me of stuff like this. It was like Bruce through the years. And I'm like, how does it even know his fucking name? What the fuck? And it's just like all the photos from the day we met until today.
Wait, how does it know his name?
I'm not joking. It really creeps me out. And so I clicked on the first one and I saw the date and I was like, holy shit. My phone went through my, 50,000 photos I have on there, found only Bruce, and then ordered it from the day I got him until like the last photo I had taken, picking like the ones that I guess I had clicked on the most over that period of time. But the album was badass. I put 4 pictures on my Twitter from the day I brought Bruce home. If you want to see how much we've both changed in 9 years.
Bruce, you old. He's in the studio. He hears me saying his name, his ears wiggling.
Which is pretty wild. Yeah, I'm proud of both Content Cade and the dogs for all surviving together. Because I'm telling you, man, I take care of these 4 dogs every day now. My house is fucking crowded now. I went from being by myself in the Bolen media office to wife, toddler, and 4 dogs, one of which is a 90-pound Doberman who got horrific diarrhea last night. Just absolutely awful.
What was Cade feeding him?
I don't know. But whatever it was came out pure liquid, like sputtering liquid. It was.
You know what? I bet you Cade got lazy. He was like, I don't want to watch these fucking dogs. Just went to HEB, bought a rotisserie chicken, and just threw it on the fucking floor. That's what I would do.
If he did that, Harvey definitely ate the whole thing. None of the other dogs got a bit.
He ate the bones.
Yeah.
He ate the bones.
But he's fine now. But the point is my house is extremely crowded. Taking care of 4 dogs is chaos. People who have that many dogs, y'all are wild as hell. People who have kids, y'all are wild as hell. People who have both, y'all are wild as hell. Cade, good job. Thank you for holding down the fort. Needed it. That was awesome. Officially, as I said, Ross Bolin's Wife Left Me merch, otherwise known as the RBP Game Day signed merch, is gone. It's over. The era has been buried. No mas. So if you got one of those shirts, I saw a lot of purchases go through this weekend. Good for you. That was it. No longer available. Never will be available again. We have gotten a suggestion for how to replace said merch with a new line referencing my relationship situation, which I will unveil at a later date. So you've got that to look forward to, but for now, check out all the other merch that is available on bolinmedia.com/shop today, where if you are a member on patreon.com/Ross Bolin Podcast, you've already scored a 10% off coupon to use in the Bolin Media shop. You can grab yourself some Formula Bone gear. We've got hats, we've got coffee mugs, we've got shirts, we've got crew necks, we've got mouse pads, we've got all kinds of great stuff in the bolinmedia.com shop. So get in there today. As I mentioned, this Friday on patreon.com/Ross Bolin Podcast, Content Cade and I will be doing a little bit of a deeper dive into my wedding. I'll talk about generally what it was like for me, what my nerves were like, getting married for the second time. It's a very different experience than the first time, I would note, and I'll explain the differences for me personally. And just all my takeaways from the weekend as a whole, some of my thoughts on weddings in general and relationships in general and whatnot. So make sure you join patreon.com/Ross Bolin Podcast today to support the show. And when you do, you gain access to our entire backlog of existing ad-free exclusive premium episodes of RBP right there on Patreon. Follow us on Instagram at the Ross Bolin Podcast, on TikTok, more importantly, at the Ross Bolin Podcast. We're also on Twitter at Ross Bolen Pod. You can follow Mr. Borislow at Jared Borislow on Twitter and Instagram. Follow his F1 show, the Formula Bone F1 show at Formula Bone everywhere. Listen to it wherever you listen to RBP. If you love F1, tell all your friends and family about Formula Bone. If you love laughing, jokes, and comedy, tell all your friends and family about RBP. And Jared and I will be back tomorrow, Thursday, April 28th. With another episode right here on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you are listening. And then Friday, I'll be back with Content Cade on Patreon for our supporters in the RBP gang. Until then, peace be with you, and also with you.